Still of one level as
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News,
welcome to Core
a
TV.
24-hour news station.
It's good to have you join us on Core Digest today, a beautiful Friday morning. And we'll be talking about what has been in the news of late. And that is ADAMAWA State Court's ruling, the lessons and pitfalls. And we know that there is a lot of drama playing itself out in that state right about now. And so that is what we'll be discussing for the first part of Core Digest this morning. I have as my guest today, Akinshola Oluremi, a public affairs analyst. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so good to have you around.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, let's start from the beginning when the issue of impeachment came in Adamawa State and when the governor and his deputy were alleged of gross misconduct. We all know that instead of waiting, the deputy governor submitted his resignation letter to the House. And it was afterwards we came up with this issue of being constitutional or not being constitutional. Let's start from the part where the deputy himself was in a haste to drop his letter, being a lawyer. What was it you felt went on in his mind for him to have submitted his letter?
The deputy governor is a lawyer, a
Yes.
barrister. All along, there had been a kind of rivalry between Ngilari and Fintiri in Adamawa. They were from the same local government area, and the political equation does not allow them to occupy top-notch position when there are other local government personalities that will occupy the same position. And don't forget that Fintiri came and crossed over from ACN to PDP then. And when he was coming in, Ngilari warned Nyako that he should not allow him. Nyako personally brought up Fintiri into the House of Assembly and made him the Speaker of the House. So there is this rivalry between Fintiri and Ngilari. At a point, their local governments, where they came from, Ngilari appointed and made sure that his own candidate became the chairman of that local government, which did not go well with Fintiri as the Speaker of the House. So he immediately appointed the same person who was made the chairman of that local government as his chief of staff in order to remove him from that position, to undermine the authority and position of Ngilari in the political equation of Adamawa. However, he later succeeded in getting someone of his own choice to become the chairman of that local government. So in between Ngilari and Fintiri, there has always been mistrust. So they don't trust each other. They don't believe in each other. So when the issue of impeachment came, it is just natural for Ngilari to know that whatever they want him to do is not for his own best interest. So he has to protect himself. And even though I'm not a lawyer, we all read a little bit of laws in school in our various courses. Ngilari, knowing that if he submits his resignation letter to the House, it will be assumed that he has left his position as deputy governor. He did not do that. What he did was to address a letter as if it was a personal letter to Fintiri, and wrote secret and confidential at the back of that letter, which meant it was not meant for public view or discussion. And if Fintiri became hasty, he was in a haste to treat the letter. He took it to the floor of the House and read it, and they treated it as if he had resigned. Meanwhile, Nyako is still in office. He has not been impeached at that time. So it was not Ngilari that was in a hurry. It was Fintiri that was in a hurry, because he did not wait for Ngilari to resign properly before they acted on it in the floor of the House. And that was the fulcrum of the issue at the court. Because what the court was looking at is, did Ngilari actually resign the way he should resign, in line with the Constitution, 1999 Constitution, Section 306 of Section 125 and 191.12. So it was because that section required that Ngilari must submit his registration letter to the governor. However, the governor was out of the state from his own affidavit that he sworn to. He was out of the state at that time. Ngilari couldn't have submitted his letter of resignation to him, which was improper for him to have submitted to the house. And even if he's submitting to the house, it will be made open, not confidential and secret as he has.
Yes, I was going to say, what could have been the intention of submitting the letter or giving the letter to the speaker in secrecy in the first place?
Political maneuvering. When you're in a situation like that, the issue is, if you look at the allegations against Murtala Nyako, his deputy was being taken along that line. And the issue is they want to remove them from office. That is the basic intention of the house. But if you can tell them that I'm not particularly interested in this house, in remaining in office, so please leave me out of it when you are focusing on the governor. So giving a letter confidentially to the governor is sending a signal to the speaker. Giving a letter confidentially to the speaker is giving a signal to the speaker that my own position is not an issue that should be debated on the floor of the house, because I can as well resign without being impeached. So that gave the speaker a kind of comfort. He expected that they won't have much problem with the deputy, because after all, if the governor is impeached, it will be the speaker that will take over if there is no deputy.
So are we saying this was a game plan by the deputy, who has now become the governor? Because if we're saying that he submitted in secrecy, which he did not expect that it would be debated on the floor of the house, definitely expected something was coming. According to what she just said, he probably was saving his head from being impeached and turning his political career. But then, at some point, he woke up to the fact that that wasn't constitutional. He woke up to the fact that what was constitutional, or what is constitutional, is submitting to the governor. What ensued, or why was there that period of silence? Was it because he didn't know and he woke up to the fact that, okay, I could have done this first, or I could not have done this, or it was a game plan from the beginning, knowing what would play out eventually?
Yeah, I look at it as a game plan from the beginning. He's a lawyer. He knows what is expected of him to do if he wants to resign, actually. It's a case like a case of 419. You know, in the 419 law, they said, ab initio, if you know that you want to defraud somebody from beginning, you will go along and play with him as if you want to trade with that person. But right there in your mind, you know you are defrauding this person. If you can prove to the court that at the beginning of this transaction and arrangement between me and the other party, where I didn't actually have interest in doing genuine business with him, I wanted to defraud him, the court will hold that there is no business between the two of you, because there is something they call addendum, coming together of the mind. That means your mind did not meet. So when Ngilari was doing what he was doing, he knows he is setting a trap, a bubble trap for the speaker, which he fell into. Because he knows if the speaker can accept that letter, even if he goes ahead and treat it in the house, it was not meant to be treated in. And that was the fulcrum of the case he took to the court, that the letter he submitted to the speaker was not meant for debate in the floor of the house, and that having treated it in the floor of the, what is meant to be secret and confidential has been taken into the open, and he was not even meant to submit such letter to the speaker but the governor, and he had not submitted such letter to the governor. And they had an affidavit from the governor that said he did not receive any letter of resignation from the deputy governor when the claim is submitted.
Okay, let's talk about one of the immediate actions of the governor after being sworn in. Oh, first, let's talk about the issue of the case. Some opinions in some courts have been faulting why the court should ask for immediate swearing in of Ngilari, not even giving space at all, because some have said that is Fintiri now, the speaker, has a right to go back to court. and questioning how the whole process went and saying that probably the court too was involved in that game by installing him immediately.
Yeah, the court or the judge has relevant information that will guide his pronouncements. And don't forget too that if he was not sworn in, by tomorrow there will be by-election in Adamawa for the same post. So by pronouncing that he should be sworn in is to prevent that election from taking place, because that will have led to chaos. There will be two people fighting for the same position, two people entitled to be in the same position. One is still sitting on this throne, the other one is qualified to be there too. And if there was no resolution of that impasse, as the judge has done, there will have been a lacuna and a political grandstanding in Adamawa. To resolve that, that pronouncement came at the right time, and I think it's appropriate to remove whatever problem that is expected to have been generated from that judgment. And you will see that even Fintiri has instructed his lawyer to go back to court to appeal. He has the right of appeal, even though his political party said they are not interested. But he, as an individual, has the right to appeal. But even if he appeals, the problem, the quagmire here is now, what if he goes to appeal court and the appeal court says, okay, return Fintiri to office? Nglari.
Do you see that coming, or do you see that happening?
It all depends on the ground of appeal. I do not know on which ground is appealing. Don't forget too that Nyako case is still in court, in Federal High Court in Lagos here. So we have 3 areas of battling for the same post. For Nyako, to me, his affidavit means that he's paying Fintiri back what Fintiri has done to him, because he single-handedly made Fintiri Speaker of the House of Assembly, and Fintiri spearheaded his removal. Now he's swearing to an affidavit to support Ngilari that he did not submit a letter of resignation to him, is to pay back Fintiri in his own coins. Now, if the Federal High Court in Lagos now said Nyako should be returned to his office, Ngilari will have to hand over back to his governor. But if Fintiri, as he has instructed his lawyer to go to the Court of Appeal, if he's returned to office, it means Ngilari will have to leave office for him. So, either way, the problem is this: there won't be the state will be the one that will suffer for it, because one, there will not be movement of respite for governance. They will be moving out of office into office, and there won't be any spear movement to do something concrete within now and May 29, when next governor will have to be sworn in. You see, within this period and next election, we have a 5-month, February, and within these 5 months, anybody can come into office in Adamawa between Ngilari, Fintiri, and Adamawa based on the next court pronouncement.
One of the very first actions taken by Bala Ngilari was to dissolve the State Executive Council and sack all political appointees. What effect does that termination have on the polity of that state?
In politics or in establishments, loyalty is very, very important. And you, human being what we are, you tend to be loyal to the person that makes you. Now, when Fintiri came in, he did the same thing. And he wouldn't have worked with Nyako's men. So he had his own people appointed. And if Ngilari is going to take over, he will need his own men to work with. He wouldn't work with Fintiri men who will either sabotage his effort in making governance easy in Adamawa. For that purpose, he has to come on board with new set of people. Even if he's going to spend 1 month, he will have his own henchmen working with him.
All right, we'll take the report of what Akpabio says about the situation in Adamawa State. And he's saying for the PDP, whatever happens, whatever's happened is a win-win situation for the party. We'll take that report now and we'll be back in the studio.
Ingilari is a PDP.
Yes.
It's not an opposition. And what it means is that I must always congratulate the president for being a president who upholds the rule of law and who has respect for the judiciary. Because this was a judicial pronouncement. And of course, the federal government has been known worldwide for upholding the rule of law. So what happened in Adamawa for me is a function of the fact that we must always give respect to judicial pronouncements and respect the judiciary. But the interesting part of it is that it is a family business for the PDP, because Ngilari, the current governor, was, of course, the deputy governor who refused to defect to the APC because of his belief in the PDP. He stayed with the PDP, and he did not defect to the opposition. So I think in coming back as the governor of Adamawa State, he's coming back as a PDP governor. He's not coming back as an APC governor.
All right, that's the chairman PDP Governors Forum, Godswill Akpabio, saying that it's a win-win situation. Ingilari, a PDP member, Fintiri, a PDP member. But what is this drama playing out in the PDP family? Because we knew when the impeachment saga started, PDP didn't take a stand against the impeachment process, which involved both the then governor and the deputy. And now that the court is ruling in favor of Ingilari, we're still coming back, the same party, to say that it's a family affair, let it go on. What is the place of Fintiri in that same party?
PDP as a political party, from reports, had conducted survey on what will be the performance of PDP in the by-election of tomorrow if it has taken place. And the 3 times they have conducted that survey, they discovered that APC might likely have like 72% win over their candidates. And that was because the primary for appointing their sole governorship candidate in this by-election created a lot of disaffection.
Which was Fintiri, right?
Which was which eventually turned up Fintiri, created a lot of disaffection in Adamawa among PDP members. You know, a whole lot of PDP members were impressed upon to step down for Fintiri. Fintiri was first said not to be qualified to contest. Later, he waggled his way through and they said, okay, all others should step down for him. That created a lot of disaffection. And because of that, they wanted change from PDP. And from the survey PDP conducted, which is confidential, they said it is likely the thing tilts in the favor of APC into the tune of 72%. Because of that, if the thing still come to Ingilari, instead of losing to APC, it's still a manageable affair for them. So they consider it better than going to the by-election and losing outrightly to APC. So this one, they will have enough time to plan ahead against APC instead of losing outrightly tomorrow during the by-election. So that was why you can see them shifting immediately in support of Ingilari to take over and say they are not going to court to appeal it because they know doing that will have worked contrary to their objectives and their aim.
If you're going that way, would you say even the court's ruling possibly was doctored by the PDP to have this aim? Because if we're saying that this whole thing is to avoid the election, with the by-election which was supposed to hold tomorrow, that is now being cancelled, could it have been manipulated in any way because they did not know what the court ruling would have been before the judgment was made?
Don't say so. They have lawyers in their parties. Before a case goes to court, each political party will have its team. They will have analyzed the case thoroughly and come up with what is the likely outcome of the case at the end of the pronouncement. They will know where it's likely to tilt. If they need to influence, they will know. And if there's no need to influence, they will know. The issue of this case is a very clear case. the issue is it was anchored on resignation. And the moment it cannot be proved that he resigned, then there is no basis for the speaker taking over what the deputy governor should have taken over. The PDP knows all that along. But because if you don't put up an issue, what if Ngelare has not gone to court, the status quo will have remained, and Fintiri will have continued in office undeterred. But because Ngelare all along knew what he's doing, it was a pre-planned issue, a purposeful intention. So he went to court immediately. The first time he went to court, the court did not want to make pronouncement the way he wanted, and they directed him, because he was saying they should stop INEC from conducting next by-election so that he could be sworn in as the governor. But the court didn't want to make such pronouncement. They said he should now bring INEC into the case if he wants that to be done. So he has to do that again. And the following week, I think the court now came out with a pronouncement. It's not issue of influencing the court. It's a straightforward case. The issue on ground is very clear. It's just that it came in a speedy manner, which we are not used to in Nigeria, the way the court made the pronouncement within a very short period of time. And that may be because of the crisis that is rocking Adamawa.
Okay, let's take what Olajumoke Olatunji, a correspondent, put together on Bala Ngelare on his journey to becoming the governor of Adamawa State. We'll take that report and again would continue from here.
This is a great day for constitutionalism in Nigeria. When we started this battle, some people thought it was a joke. And we made the point that a deputy governor can only resign his office by handing over his letter of resignation to the governor. He cannot resign by handing over the letter of resignation to the Speaker of the House.
That was before the swearing-in of the former deputy governor of Adamawa State, now the governor, Bala James Ngelare. Adamawa, one of the troubled states in the northeast, a stronghold of the Boko Haram sect which is currently under emergency rule, recently joined the states where off-season elections had been and was about to be held following the impeachment of Governor Murtala Nyako by the State House of Assembly over allegations of financial recklessness and other misdeeds. Nyako, who was first elected on the platform of PDP in 2007 and returned in 2011, had defected to the opposition APC owing to some misunderstanding with the establishment. But on the 15th of July 2014, Nyako was impeached. Minutes before his impeachment, his deputy, Bala James Ngelare, reportedly resigned his position as the #2 man in the state. Nyako, however, dismissed the resignation of his deputy as a nullity. On the 6th of August, Ngelare proceeded to court through his lawyer, Festus Keyamo, asking to be sworn in as a substantive governor of the state because, according to him, he did not resign his office as stipulated by the Constitution. This stood in sharp contrast to what the State House of Assembly claimed was his resignation in a letter read by the then Speaker, Umaru Fintiri, to members of the House during the height of the impeachment drama. In the originating summons filed on the Federal High Court holding in Abuja, Ngelare said the Constitution is very explicit that the Deputy Governor can only resign through a letter to that effect to the substantive Governor. And as at the time, his purported letter was read on the floor of the Adamawa House of Assembly, Nyako was still the governor as the lawmakers had not concluded his impeachment process. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja asked the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to stop all preparations for the governorship by-election slated for Saturday, 11th of October in the state. The court also ordered that the deputy governor of impeached Nyako be sworn in immediately to complete Nyako's tenure. I, do solemnly swear. There are lessons to be learned from these developments.
It's a victory for the rule of law and the principle of constitutionalism in Nigeria. It shows clearly that the era of lawlessness, the era of absolutism, the era where we can play on the purpose and the intentions of our constitution are over.
The Constitution is the manual of government, and for that reason, anybody, by virtue of Section 1 of the Constitution must adhere strictly to this manual, or anybody who is a beneficiary of offices created by the Constitution must adhere strictly to these provisions.
Ngalari has described his emergence as a divine intervention, pleading to partner with other stakeholders to create an enabling environment for peace and progress in the state. Olajumoke Olatunji, Core TV News, Lagos.
Thank you so much, Jumoke, for that package. We appreciate what you've done. And you saw that report and, of course, endorsing what you've said earlier about the letter not being constitutional, else it's ended as saying that he did not resign at all because he didn't submit to the appropriate quarters. But you were saying something earlier about a secret survey carried out by the PDP, which might mean APC might have 72% of the votes if it had gone ahead
with
by-elections tomorrow. But now, with just about 5 months to election, are we saying that 5 months is enough to amend things in the camp of PDP to make them ready for the 2015 election?
Several reports from the media shows that when Fintiri assumed office as governor, acting governor, he embarked on what we call politics of infrastructure, stomach infrastructures. He was buying Prado jeeps for members of the House of Assemblies and several top-notchers in the state to assuage their feelings and carry them along. And that was what makes some people, or some school of thought, to say that Ngalari could decide to probe him. That probing him now will create another chaos in Adamawa State because, one, Fintiri is still in charge of the House of Assembly. Because the current acting speaker of the House said anytime Fintiri comes back, he's ready to hand over to him. And we can now see the way the political equation in the state is tilting. So the period of 5 months, knowing the kind of environment we have in Nigeria and the level of poverty in the north, the issue at hand is who give what before the election. Now, if Fintiri is no longer there to dole out the money the way he was willing to dole out, and Ngalari is dead, and look at the immediate step the PDP took. Quickly, they sent Kenny Namani to the place to reconcile aggrieved members of the parties with the new sworn-in governor. The reasons for that is to ensure that Ngalari works in tandem with PDP objective in the state, so that whatever they need to win the state, he will put it on ground. And that will be matching APC money for money, food for food, towards the election in February 2015.
Are you saying that is what the party does, stomach infrastructure, giving out money and food?
Well, the report, I'm dwelling on report. I'm not in Adamawa. I'm dwelling on report that I came across in the media that said Fintiri has embarked on stomach infrastructure within the period he assumed office by doling out Prado jeeps to house members. And because of that, they are very, very loyal to him, to the extent that they say even if you come back to the house, the current speaker will abandon the seat and hand over to him. So if he does that, you cannot ordinarily say they will not do that to the citizenry in the state. So the politics in the north all along has always been stomach infrastructure. It's creeping into the southwest, and we saw what happened in Ekiti State, and we don't know which other area of the country will be covered with such stomach infrastructure political scenario. So the issue now is these 5 months we have, how effectively can they match the other big stalwart of APC in the state? Don't forget that Atiku Abubakar is from that place. and is somebody that is equally respected by the Adamawa people. He has been governor before, he's been vice president before, and he has a lot of investment in Adamawa. He has a lot of followers too. So he has been one of the kingmaker in Adamawa in the past, and he is saying that his postponement, what happened by through the swearing in of Ngilari, is just postponement of doomsday of PDP in Adamawa, because he knows anytime that there is election, APC will take over from Adamawa. Well, that could be a statement of or marketing from his own side as an APC stalwart. But however, as event unfold in the next few days, we'll be seeing how things will be going in Adamawa.
But how would you evaluate how governance will go from here, given the fact that the person who would be going back to be the Speaker of the House, who is supposed to be the check and balance for the executive, has intentions? Matter of fact, is still going to the court for appeal of the judgment that was just pronounced. How do you think governance will go, given the fact that the person in charge, so to say, of the House of Assembly has his eyes on the governorship position, and now there is someone who has come back for his mandate?
It's going to be a little bit tough, but I think PDP will have a significant role to play that as a party, and which they have started in earnest by saying that they want to reconcile all the aggrieved members. And when you look at the principal aggrieved member in this case, none other than Fintiri and Ngilari. For PDP, they are safer with Ngilari than Fintiri. And they will want Fintiri to downplay the issue of the court case of appeal and things like that, because it will not work in the favor of PDP. Don't forget too that there are several issues that come into play when you are appointing, when you are conducting primaries. There is zoning formula in PDP. Like I said when we started this program, Fintiri and Ngilari came from the same local government. The governor now, Ngilari, is from a local government. Then the Speaker of the House will come from the same local government. Yes. It is not going to be so easy and acceptable to other people from the state. So this political imbalance in the equation is an issue that will be very difficult to resolve now. Because if Fintiri goes back to the House and return to his position as Speaker, it means the Speaker and the governor is coming from the same local government area. That will be very, very difficult to achieve. Let's see. That's why I said in the next few days, event will show us how Adamawa is going to be run. But I know, like I have said, that an aggrieved person in person of Fintiri going back to the House will move the political governance of the state into a grandstand. Everything will be on a standstill because they will not support Ngilari's government, because he believed he is supposed to be there. And he has the followership of the House. I mean, the loyalty of the House. Having pampered them when he was acting governor, they will still be loyal to him. But it now depends on the political acumen of Ngilari. If Ngilari is an astute politician, he will be able to get support of the House member away from Fintiri to his side. But that will depend on how much of money he can dole out compared to what Fintiri has given them.
Okay, now, so it is about money and stomach infrastructure. Of course, of recent, we've had that word infused into our political register. Stomach infrastructure. Just in case you don't know, maybe you should check your dictionary what that means. It's called Digest this morning, and we've been talking about the Adamawa State Court ruling, the lessons and the pitfalls. And with us, we've had Akinshola Olufemi, I'm so sorry, a public affairs analyst. We'll take a break now, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly, and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on Core TV News.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as weak, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News.
Der Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1:1. Semenike schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
And of course, making a difference for all of us here from all our production crew. Thanks for watching my channel.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos once again has all roots.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV
24-hour news station. You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Core TV News, expanding your view.